for its soil if there is a war.
You at 10 on Eyewitness News.
Blinded Elizabeth Smart lied to police when they tried to help her. Coming up new tonight, an exclusive interview with one of the police officers that found her. We have details next here that you will not find anywhere else in the city.
Plus, the trouble facing the Amber Alert, how a legislation tie-up could affect a missing child.
And want to know how to prevent the likelihood of a serious stroke? You have to watch tonight's health scene.
Right now we've got temperatures near the freezing mark. A cold night ahead for us, but there's a big change on the way for the weekend, and I think you'll like it. We'll talk about changing temperatures later in the SkyTrack 13 forecast.
These stories and more next on Eyewitness News at 10 on UPN Indiana. Now, Andrea Moorhead, Scott Swan, Chris Wright, SkyTrack forecast, and sports with Dave Calabro. This is Eyewitness News at 10 on UPN Indiana.
As Ed Mart said today, yes, it is real. Missing Utah teen Elizabeth Smart is back at home tonight. Elizabeth is not being asked a lot of questions by her father, but answers are still needed tonight. Leanne Gregg has more tonight from Salt Lake City.
It's real. It's real.
It's what Elizabeth Smart's father had dreamed of, his family reunited. These new pictures of their reunion, precious reminders of their close bond, the return of Elizabeth and what he calls a blessing.
What an absolute miracle and answer to prayers this has been.
After she was kidnapped from her bedroom 9 months ago, hundreds of people searched the canyons behind her house. She apparently heard them call her name, but could not answer back.
She said that she had spent months right up here in the mountains through August. I can't believe it.
Police say Elizabeth was taken cross-country from California to Georgia before returning to Utah.
Are you having fun?
Part of the time Elizabeth was in Salt Lake City, veiled and wearing a wig, but no one reported recognizing her. She was apparently held by Brian Mitchell, a drifter and street minister called Emmanuel, who was spotted in Sandy, Utah.
I think I see that Emmanuel they're looking for.
Relatives described him as a man who claimed he had power over women.
Could have been fear. Could have been a little bit of a brainwashing. They're very good at that, obviously.
Investigators now will try to learn details of Elizabeth's last 9 months. She, too, is attempting to sort out the events that so drastically changed her life. Leanne Gregg, NBC News, Salt Lake City.
New tonight, MSNBC is reporting that Mitchell, Emmanuel, married Elizabeth in a bizarre ritual the day that she was kidnapped. Meantime, the Smart family is still asking for help tonight. They want to create a timeline of Elizabeth's whereabouts during the last 9 months. Well, ironically, the first police officer who found Elizabeth Smart yesterday is a friend of mine when I lived in Utah. Tonight, Officer Karen Jones gave me new details about her conversation with Elizabeth.
When you asked her if she was Elizabeth Smart, what did she tell you?
She said no, she was Augustine Marshall.
Karen said Elizabeth wore a gray wig and sunglasses.
We asked her if she would take the sunglasses off and talk to us, and she said no, she wouldn't take them off. She had had eye surgery. In the back of my car, when it was just the two of us, she started to cry.
Elizabeth finally talked to Officer Jones.
The first question out of her mouth is, what's going to happen to them?
Elizabeth was referring to Brian Mitchell and Wanda Barzy. But when asked again if she was the missing teenager, Elizabeth would only say the words, "Thou sayest."
We assume that's a yes, that you are Elizabeth Smart. And she again repeated, what thou sayest. And that was all she said until we were able to get her back to the department and take off the wig and see her blonde hair and positively ID her.
Last week, Karen told family members nothing exciting ever happens on her shift. She doesn't feel that way tonight. Karen helped end a 9-month nationwide search.
She sure did. Well, the Indiana Amber Alert System has strict criteria to get information to the public as quickly as possible about a missing child. Ed Smart urges lawmakers to pass legislation for a national Amber Alert system. As of right now, 38 states, including Indiana, have their own Amber system. Lawmakers hope to pass a bill, though, which will earmark $10 million towards a national system. But local Amber Alert experts fear other legislation will slow down those efforts.
Mandatory minimum sentences for sex offenders, allowing cops to use wiretaps. those things have been added on to the National Amber Alert bill, which now makes it controversial, which now makes it less likely to clear through the legislative process.
Indiana has not used this Amber Alert system. State police hope to improve the already existing plan.
There's a recall on baby seats that all parents need to know about tonight. Graco recalled nearly 650,000 infant car seats because of some missing parts. It's the standalone Snug Ride, sold within the last year. The carriers could come loose in a sudden stop or accident. If you have one of these, call this number on your screen, 866-473-0163.
Well, if you're standing alone outside, you need somebody to stand next to because it was a little nippy outside today. But the main question is, will the clouds stick around for your Big Friday plans? Christmas Skytrack 13 forecast is coming up next.
And doctors are taking a swipe at your prescription tonight. You'll find out why your medicine could come with a new code. That's next on the Health Beat.
With the latest in medical breakthroughs and technology, this is Eyewitness News Health Beat.
Well, high stress and strokes go hand in hand. That new research from scientists in Denmark begins tonight's Health Beat. Out of 12,000 study participants, researchers found that those who reported stress on a weekly basis had a 50% higher risk of a fatal stroke. Also, stressed people were more likely to smoke, not exercise, drink alcohol, and have high blood pressure. Stroke is the third leading killer in the U.S., but the #1 cause of disability. Also in the Health Beat tonight, doctors could soon scan your medications as easily as you scan food at the grocery store. The Food and Drug Administration is pushing for barcodes on prescriptions to ensure hospital patients get the right dose at the right time. In fact, each year at least 7,000 patients die due to problems with medication. Veterans hospitals are already using barcodes. A spokesperson says drug errors have dropped since adopting that new system. And a 4-month-old California boy gets a new heart just weeks after the government deployed its father to the Middle East. Doctors say that Dylan Sellers is in critical but stable condition tonight. He was born with a heart defect. The doctor said the organ was too damaged to repair. Dylan's mother, Betsy, broke the transplant news to his father, Major Hal Sellers, this morning. Major Sellers is a 13-year Marine veteran. His wife says he was ordered or offered that as a desk job at a base near Los Angeles, but chose to head overseas instead. Doctors say Dylan could go home in a couple of weeks.
Chris Wright's Skytrack forecast is approved by the American Meteorological Society.
A blast of gale force winds swept through Anchorage, Alaska late last night and this morning. Gusts were clocked at 50 miles an hour. Small planes were tossed around, several windows were blown out, and as you can see, several fires were sparked by downed power lines. No word, though, tonight on any serious injuries. You guys get woken up this morning by those thunderstorms?
I was looking for somebody's bed to jump in. You know how when you're a kid, did your kids get in the bed with you?
The kids went in their own room.
Oh, in their own room.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I don't have anybody.
Held a pillow over my head.
I said, just go look in the bed with Mama.
Right.
We had some big storms across central Indiana this morning. Thunder, lightning, gusty winds, and rain all for the morning rush hour. Then later in the day, the clouds hung around and really did warm up a whole lot across central Indiana. Take a look at some rainfall amounts from earlier this morning. Bloomington picked up a ½ inch of rain, ½ inch here in the city. Almost an inch of rain in Muncie and 1.2 inches fell in Anderson today. So it was a soaker of a day across central Indiana this morning. Then this afternoon, we stayed on the chilly side. Now, early this morning at 9:15, the temperature shot up to 49 degrees. Then the colder air moved in, and we dropped 7:29. We reached our low temperature for the day, cooling down to 32. Overnight tonight, we'll cool low temperatures down to the middle and upper 20s, down to 32 tonight in Bloomington and in Columbus. And then for tomorrow, highs ranging from 51 in Muncie to a high of 57 in Columbus. 49 and 32, the average high and low temperature for us this time of year, 50 and 31. So in the ballpark today, but that chilly afternoon made things feel a whole lot colder. Right now, we are at the freezing mark. Wind east at 8 miles per hour. The wind chill's at 25, humidity 85%, and the barometer is holding steady. Here's the cold front that moved on across central Indiana, gave us the showers and storms this morning, and also gave us the cold afternoon we had. We still have the clouds overhead, expecting them to break up for tonight across central Indiana, but maybe once again, we'll see some patchy fog developing during the overnight period. For tomorrow, high pressure will give us a mix of clouds and sunshine. Rather quiet Friday weather-wise across the eastern half of the country, except for some scattered showers down across the southeast. Heading on into Saturday, we'll hang on to our high-pressure ridge, and that'll give us sunshine for Saturday. Maybe a few clouds coming in on Sunday afternoon, but this weekend is going to be a very nice one. Middle 60s on Saturday, near 70 on Sunday. In the forecast overnight, we'll find it colder with some patchy fog, down to 25 degrees. For tomorrow, a sunny, mild day with a high at 55. In the extended forecast, a high at 65 on Saturday, up around 70 on Sunday, with a few more clouds coming in. From the clouds, showers and storms are likely on Monday and Tuesday of next week, so more noisy weather coming in Monday and Tuesday. We'll have to watch the next storm system coming in on Tuesday. We could see some stronger thunderstorms on Tuesday afternoon.
All right, I guess we'll just have to take sleeping with the kids and the dogs and all that,
And
you know, to
pillows.
comfort each other. Right, and the pillows.
And then get out there with that sunshine, those temperatures in the 60s and 70s.
Oh, we're going to enjoy that. Thank you very much, Chris. Well, you know, the deadline to claim a $51 million Powerball jackpot has come and gone, and still, can you believe it, no winner. The ticket was sold last September at the Crystal Flash on South Girls School Road. That store today set up signs and asked customers, are you the Mr. Millionaire? No takers, though. This is the first time in Powerball's 11-year history that no one has claimed that cash. The money now goes back to the state for a future winning fund.
Somebody probably just won the ticket, didn't think anything about it, ripped it up, and now can't find it.
I wish that had been me.
IU trying to win the lottery now with the Big Ten tournament.
They are. I said
Looking all right.
Yeah, they played Penn State tonight. I said it's kind of like playing the Channel 13 All-Stars. You know what I mean? That's right. Jeffrey Newton and company, they got it done tonight. All the highlights from Chicago and the Big Ten tournament are next. Stay with us. Good evening. After losing to the worst team in the league over the weekend, the Indiana Hoosiers out to prove that they still deserve an invite to the NCAA tournament. Rich Nye is in Chicago as the Hoosiers try to make that lasting impression.
The Indiana Hoosiers lost 8 of their last 12 regular season games, including last Saturday against Penn State, the worst team in the Big Ten. The Hoosiers opened the Big Ten tourney in Chicago with a rematch against the Nittany Lions, and IU's postseason very much in question. 1, 2, 3, let's go! Let's go! Indiana needed to prove itself worthy of the NCAA tourney. Senior Jeff Newton made the strongest argument for the Hoosiers. IU took charge inside on both ends of the court. George Leitz rejected any ideas of a Penn State upset. Newton stepped outside to drop a 3 at the buzzer. Indiana up 12 at the half.
I wanted to be as aggressive as I could, you know what I'm saying, from the get-go. We wanted to try to get Diagley and those guys in foul trouble. And that's what we did early on, and it was effective for us.
Newton did everything but play in the pep band. 23 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. Leitz says, thank you very much.
And we wanted to prove, like, you know, the committed, whatever, last Saturday was just, just a bad day at the office or whatever, but now we're on track.
This turned into a snoozer. IU wins 77-49. The Hoosiers' 19th victory may have assured an invitation to the big tourney.
You get out of here and bubble associate with Indiana, and you want to be in. And tell me why we couldn't play this way last weekend.
Indiana now plays Michigan on Friday night. On Friday afternoon, Purdue plays its first game in the Big Ten tourney against Michigan State. In Chicago, I'm Rich Nye, Channel 13 Eyewitness Sports.
And watch this finish. Ohio State and Iowa tied at 64. Brent Darby off the glass. It goes. Buckeyes up by 2. Time running out. This is Chauncey Leslie. Ohio State trying to hang on. Yes, they survive. They'll play number 1 seed Wisconsin tomorrow in the tournament. Also tomorrow afternoon, Purdue begins Big Ten tourney play against Michigan State. Rich and I will have live reports on Eyewitness News at 5, 6, and obviously here at 10 o'clock as well. The Pacers have lost 12 out of their last 13 games, and the news continues to get even worse. Ron Artest will miss tomorrow night's game against Utah. He was given a 1-game suspension for that flagrant foul against Eric Snow last night. No doubt about it, Artest is a marked man with the officials these days.
I know it's difficult to do at this late in the game in terms of changing the perception, but the perception of our team right now is that, and particularly with Ron, that everything is flagrant.
Flagrant foul when you foul hard or hurt somebody or something like that, but it was just a purposely done foul.
Hey, finally tonight, check it out. You know, spring training is supposed to be a relaxed atmosphere for the players. Try telling that to this guy. Mike Piazza beamed by L.A. pitcher Guillermo Mota. Here we go.
Come on, boy. Wow.
Okay, again, this is spring training. The bench is cleared. These two players had a showdown last season. Mota beat him like 4 different times, and Piazza said, you know what? This is not going to carry over into the season. We're going to get this out of the way right now.
Let's fight now. Get out of our
That's not a spring training face you normally see.
Wow.
After the game?
Yeah.
Wow.
We'll be right back. Stay with us. In Japan, zookeepers at the Tama Zoo chase after an escaped giant snow leopard. Well, sort of. Take a look. Here he is. This is a security drill the zoo runs every year. Zookeepers armed with nets and Mach tranquilizer guns trying to stop that fierce cat.
Yeah, he's fast.
Workers finally caught the cat by stunning it with water hoses and tagging it with a dart. It's actually been decades since any animal escaped from the zoo.
Yeah, security is tight there.
Real tight. And the cat like Mike Piazza. Duke it out.
Hey, we're going to see the sun tomorrow, right?
Yes, we are. 55 tomorrow.
Woo!